Jabari spent his days on the red dust moon of Krios, working at his uncle's salvage yard. While other teens dreamed of the inner rim, Jabari was content searching through the wreckage of fallen freighters. He wore his favorite gray baseball cap low to shield his eyes from the twin suns. One afternoon, tucked inside the rusted ribs of a scout ship, he found a copper-colored sphere that pulsed with a faint, rhythmic amber light. Back in his workshop, Jabari wiped the grime from the sphere. He was a natural with old tech, his fingers dancing over the device's hidden seams. With a soft click, the sphere projected a flickering holographic map into the air. It wasn't a map of the known trade routes. It showed a path leading deep into the void, toward a sector everyone claimed was empty. Jabari's glasses caught the glow of 1,000 tiny stars spinning in his room. Jabari knew he couldn't get there on a salvage tug. He headed to the orbit hangar, a place where independent pilots looked for work. There he found Alara, a mechanic who spent more time under ships than in them. She was covered in grease and currently arguing with a stubborn fuel pump. Jabari showed her the sphere, and the arguing stopped. "That's a pioneer's compass," Alara whispered, her eyes narrowing. "They haven't been seen in a century." Alara had a ship, a beat-up long-range explorer named the Stellar Finch. It wasn't pretty, but it was fast. "If that map is real," she said, "it leads to the Lost Garden, a colony ship that vanished during the Great Migration." She hopped into the pilot's seat and began flipping switches. The engines roared to life, a low thrum that Jabari could feel in his teeth. He realized he was actually doing it. He was leaving the dust behind. As they hit the jump point, the stars stretched into long, white ribbons. Jabari took the co-pilot's station, his hands hovering over the sensor array. He wasn't used to the weightlessness of hyperspace, but he found he liked the way the ship felt like a living thing. Suddenly, the sensors shrieked. A field of jagged asteroids appeared out of nowhere, tumbling through the void like giant broken teeth. Alara gripped the controls, her knuckles white. "Hang on, Star Mapper." She yelled over the alarms. She dove the Stellar Finch into a narrow gap between two spinning boulders. The ship groaned as a stray rock scraped the hull, sending a shower of sparks through the cabin. Alara didn't flinch. She guided them through the chaos with the precision of a surgeon, her eyes fixed on the darkness ahead. They emerged from the asteroid belt into a nebula of swirling sapphire and violet gas. In the center of the cloud sat a massive, silent vessel. It was the Aethelgard, the legendary colony ship. It wasn't a wreck. It was a floating fortress, preserved by the vacuum of the nebula. Jabari and Alara suited up, their boots clanking on the metal hull as they crossed the umbilical bridge toward the airlock. Inside, the ship was a tomb of silence. Jabari led the way, using the copper sphere as a flashlight. It pulsed faster as they reached the bridge. He found a terminal that still had a trickle of power. As he plugged the sphere into the console, the ship began to breathe. Lights flickered on, revealing rows of cryopods and, more importantly, a massive library of digital records, everything the original settlers had brought from Earth. Alara walked to the center of the bridge, where a holographic display showed a detailed map of a habitable planet just a few light-years away. They weren't lost, she realized, reading the logs. They were waiting for someone with the key to find them. The ship's engines are still functional, but they need a command code only the compass can provide. She looked at Jabari, realizing he held the fate of thousands of sleeping people in his hands. Jabari didn't hesitate. He entered the final sequence, and the Aethelgard groaned as its massive engines flared to life for the first time in a century. He and Alara stood side by side on the observation deck, watching the sapphire nebula fall away. Jabari adjusted his cap and smiled. He had started the day looking for scrap, but he had ended it by finding a future. The Star Mapper had finally brought the ghosts home,